I'm so glad to see you and to have a chance to serve you and share with my gift that God gave me. And basically we will keep this topic today that I started 2 weeks ago about our gifts, what God gives us. So just to remind you what we were talking about 2 weeks ago. So we looked at the several passages that says that Christ, when he ascended up to the heaven, he gave us Holy Spirit and he gave us gifts, different gifts. And we noted that every Christian get something from God. So there is no Christian who could say just, well, I don't have any gift. So every one of us, we should be able to understand what is our gift, what we received from Christ, spiritual gift. And and then ask ourselves, do we really serve with this gift? Or we just hide it somewhere and we will be just like this lazy servant that when Lord would come, he would just pull it up and say, well, here is back. So, and he was, well, where is the profit? Did you bring some fruit with your gift? So I strongly encourage you to really think through and follow the advice that also we look at this 1 Timothy 4:16, that Paul instructs Timothy, watch your life, or different translation, take heed, or understand, or analyze yourself. So we should really think, well, how God created me. Well, of course I'm different from everyone around, and how special am I? And what God gave me, and how can I use it? So we started to kind of think about ourselves, in general, about people, and we looked at their different traits. Basically, all of us, we can split into several groups. Some of us very quick, and some of us quite slow. And this is normal. So we don't have something that is kind of trait is good and another trait is bad. It's just different. I also shared my experience that I was very stupid. I don't know, about age 30. Only then I started to understand that, well, everyone is valuable and everyone is kind of valued by God, and we are all created different. Because I was kind of so proud, and I thought, well, if everyone will be like me, then it will be fine, finally. And only later, when this wisdom of the life comes, and you see different situations, and you start to see your mistakes, and then you start to value other people that are very different from you, and you start to see a bigger picture, all different colors and shadows that God really created us. So, quick and slow. And probably you already saw that I'm quite quick. So, and that's fine. And for example, my wife, she's quite slow. And it's very good that we can really balance each other. So like I like this example of the car. Well, you have accelerator and you have brakes. And it's a very bad car if you just have accelerator. Well, or you just have a brake, then you will just stand there and do not move. So the wisdom of life is to really understand our differences and use them in the different situations. For example, I already told this last time that we agreed with my wife when we have gas and we go to somewhere, and that sometimes I have this temptation to switch into preacher mode, and I would just draw all attention, and will just keep saying something, keep telling something, keep teaching, and she would just kick me under the table. That's enough, stop. So because she feels it much better. She relates to the people much better, and I'm not really feeling guy. I just have a purpose, and I just run for it. So we looked 2 weeks ago at the two characters from the Bible who were very quick, Paul and Peter. But they are different. Even though they are both quick to react, quick to respond, quick to change, they are different because Peter is mostly driven by people around him. What kind of impression he makes on the people. And he is first to speak always. He is first to preach on a Pentecostal day. And God uses Peter for that. So he is a good preacher, he is a good evangelist, and he can announce good news before crowds of thousands of people, and he is not ashamed to say this. So, and God uses him. So Peter is mostly think what other people think about him, and we can say he's more like an actor, he's like an artist, he needs a kind of podium to present himself. And once again, it could be bad, it could be good. And some people, I don't know, like Trump, they won't give a lot of, get a lot of attention. And sometimes we think, well, it's sick, it's not correct. But God can use such people. So if they surrender themselves toward God, and they would just preach and present His message, that they will fulfill God's plan. So God can use these actors, and it's nice to be around such people. If you have a group of people and someone like Peter, it's fun. It's a heart of this gathering. It's funny. They always crack jokes, and it's nice to be around such people. And if the group gather together and there is no such person, then it's kind of boring. It's like, well, there is no life. It's always the same. So it's good to have Peters around. Not many of them, but at least a couple in the church, and it's fine. Another person that we looked at, it was Paul, and Paul could offend people, and Paul didn't really care what other people think about him. He was caring about the task Jesus gave him. So when Paul turned his whole life, but it was very quick, Jesus gave him order, go and preach. And all his life, Paul is pursuing this goal, this task, and he's just preaching. Well, some people try to kill him, some people do not really like him, and some people do not help him, and he just not trying to really please people, he's just achieving this goal, he's pursuing this goal. And once again, if everybody would be like that, it would be terrible world, and I'm like Paul. And these people, they do not really care about feelings. They can easily offend people, but they can achieve goals. As I said last time, that usually business wants such people, because these people can make margin, can make sale, can go and do something new, and usually such people, they got promoted. But once again, they can do a lot of harm if they do not understand themselves and they are not balanced by other talents. So Peter and Paul, quick, and one is kind of motivated by relationship with people, what others think about him, and another one is motivated by the achieving goal, achieving task. Today we will look at another two characters. They are both slow, and it's fine. God understands that not everyone is quick to change. Sometimes if God wants to change someone, it will take years and maybe even decades. And we also probably know such people that their way to God is very long. And we would just ask, why? Well, just believe, just turn around. Well, it's not for everyone to really react quick. So we will look at Abraham and Moses. So first is Moses in my notes. Let's think about him. Let's think about this passage where God called Moses for his task to achieve his purpose to deliver people from the Egypt. So he expressed himself in the burning bush. And what is the reaction of the Moses? If we read, we see that Moses do not really think that he's able to do that. And he's kind of almost arguing with God, giving one after another explanation why he cannot do that. So it's very, very slow to agree on the calling of God. If we just compare, for example, Paul and Moses, Paul was like very quick to change, and then all his life, then he would pursue. The Moses is just dragging, and he's not. I'm slow to speak. What I will say, and God kind of patiently gives him answer and kind of pushes him step by step to achieve this goal. So, in my opinion, once again, this is all these examples is just for example. It's not maybe fully describe these characters because we are very complex. We are just making this simplification and saying, well, this is quick and this is slow. For example, well, I think in the time of Moses in his life, we can find some situation when he was more or less quick. But generally, in my opinion, he is slow to change. Slow to change, and so he's not very eager to jump into this leadership, and he's cautious, unsure, and do we find such people? Yes, of course. A lot of people not very quick to change. For example, once again, my story that when war started, we reacted quickly. I said to my family, just pack several suitcases, let's jump into the car and just fly out of the country. Ran out of the country. Majority of my friends and some of my relatives, they just stayed. They just stayed back in this war, and some of them just they were not allowed to go outside on the second day. The only first day was possible just to go out of the country for the man. And I was quick, and I just grabbed this possibility and was just okay. Let's do this. But majority of the people they just okay. Let's think what is going on. What will be in the future? So they do not react quickly. And sometimes it's fine, because I just cannot imagine the world that everyone is just, running and jumping. It would be just horrible. Yeah. So, he's, in my opinion, Moses is more or less slow to react. But once he accepts this from God, he just takes it and just carries it. So sometimes with these people, we just need a patience. And I know that my wife is slow. And for example, when we go to the shop together, it's nightmare. It's terrible. Because I just have a list. I just have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I go here, there, and just 5 minutes go out. No, for her no. She has to go around every aisle, every trace, and I realized much later, this is fine. This is how she works, because she doesn't have this list. She just, when she walks to these goods, she goes, oh, I think I don't have it enough at my home. Probably I need to buy it. And then she would come back, same place, and maybe I will take 2. And maybe she will come back and I go, no, maybe I don't need 2, I will just have 1. and she will give it back. And this is fine. It drives me crazy, but this is fine for her. And yes, and once again, some people take these slow decisions. They sleep over, they think, they pray, and in some situations this is fine. This is completely normal. And I can say that in some situation I suffered because I reacted too quick. So sometimes I really need to slow myself down and just think, pray, ask advices. Because I'm not a very smart person. I need advices. But if I'm quick to react, then I just cannot take these advices. So, I think Moses is quite slow, but he is not very interested in the relationship. He's mostly probably interested in achieving goals, and God calls him, and he gives him a task, and he's achieving this task, and then he gives him a lot of laws through Moses that Moses would teach Israelites to obey God in a certain way. More than 600 laws, different small details that he should remember, and he should transfer this knowledge and just establish this priesthood, high priest and priests and all different sacrifices in a certain order. So that's the task he received from God, and he is carrying it. He is a perfect person to do that. But doing that, you will offend people, because you don't care about people, you care about quality of this task, how to achieve it in a 100% right manner. And we will look at the one passage, if you will, please open Leviticus 10, and it's a very strange, very complicated chapter in the Bible, in the Old Testament. I think one of the strangest, one of the toughest places, Leviticus 10. So that's he gathers Aaron, his brother. So Aaron is a high priest. And Aaron has 4 sons, and they are just priests. So they have special robes made for them. And basically he teaches how to approach God and how to serve God properly. So we will read first 3 verses. Aaron's son Nadab and Abihu took their censers, put fire in them, and added incense, and they offered unauthorized fire before the Lord, contrary to his command. So fire came out from the presence of the Lord and consumed them, and they died before the Lord. Moses then said to Aaron, "This is what the Lord spoke of when he said, 'Among those who approach me, I will prove holy in the sight of all people, and I will be honored.' Aaron remained silent." So, can you imagine that? So these 2, I guess, young guys, sons of Aaron, they later, it's explained, probably they were drunk. They just took some incense. They took these devices to make the good smell before the Lord. And they just, took their lighter, just lighted up, and just went into the presence of God. And God said, "Well, no. I will not accept this thing. You have to do this properly, 100% right, to come before me. And I'll show you that I'm holy. I want to be respected." And he burned them. And Aaron is here. Aaron sees all of this. His 2 youngest sons just was burned by God, by this holy fire, and they just died. And these 2 corpses, 2 bodies, laying here. And Moses comes to him and said, okay, well, this is exactly what God said. I will make myself holy. I will show before people that, well, you have to respect me. And Aaron like, probably, I don't care. This is to my sons. They just died. And Moses, seems he doesn't care about these guys. He cares just to do this right. Let's keep reading. We will skip some of the parts because chapter is big. Verse 12. Moses said to Aaron and his remaining sons, Eleazar and Ithamar, take the grain offering left over from the food offering prepared without yeast and present to the Lord and eat it beside the altar, for this is most holy. Verse 13, eat it in the sanctuary area. And then several times in the next several verses, he underlines, eat it, eat it, eat it. And then what happens? And he finished his speech to these two younger guys at verse 15, as the Lord commanded. So he said, well, these two guys died, then you next two take the ropes, take this offering, take this food, bring it before God and eat it before God, because Lord commanded this. Just do it, because we need to do this procedure, 100% correct. So, verse 16, when Moses inquired about the goat and all the sin offering and found that it had been burned, not eaten, but burned, he was angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, Aaron's remaining son. And he asked, verse 17, why didn't you eat the sin offering? You will die also like that. So, then we jump into verse 19. Aaron, father of these two guys, replied to Moses, today they already sacrificed their sin offering and their burnt offering before the Lord. So, in other words, he's saying, well, they just lost two older brothers. They were just were killed before that, and that was the offering. That was sin offering. And well, when Moses demanded to eat before the Lord, it was another commandment: rejoice. And it's kind of feast before the Lord. You eat this nice food before the Lord and you rejoice. And in other words, Aaron is saying, well, how can they rejoice? How they can enjoy this food before the Lord when they just lost their two older brothers? So we keep reading verse 19. But such things as they have happened to me, and he's already telling about himself, probably he also should participate in this procedure. So then he said, would the Lord have been pleased if I have eaten the sin offering today? So Aaron is just asking Moses, well, is it right to rejoice now? Is it right to be happy and eat before the Lord when I just lost to my sons? And look what Moses answered to him. When Moses heard this, he was satisfied. So it seems that Aaron is just explaining this guy, this stupid guy who just cares only about procedure. He explained him something about feelings, something about losing two sons, about death. Because it seems that Moses doesn't really care about feelings. He just cares about what should be procedure and how it should be followed, 100% correct. And we see God didn't kill them. But they really broke the commandment. But it felt not right. So what we see, at least I see in this place, in this passage, that Moses doesn't care about people. He doesn't care about feelings. He just thinks about procedure. He just thinks about this law that you have to follow. And by the way, I think Pharisees, they wanted to obey the law of God in very small detail. And I think they really forgot the people, the care, the love, and other things that we can say that almost like feelings. And Jesus rebuked them. Rebuked that they are trying to follow procedure, but they don't truly love God, they don't truly love people. So, was the Moses wrong or right? Well, I think in a different situation. In a different situation, you have to behave really differently. Some places you really have to think about how a person feels, what is going on in his life. Well, sometimes you have to follow procedure. Sometimes you have to do what is right. So it really depends on the situation. Okay, I guess you would agree that Moses is slow and he cares about procedure. And I think if we have such people, this is very good, because those people care about quality. They're not in a hurry. They can spend time. They can really study things, or they can really do the things. For example, if you want your heart surgery performed by whom? By Moses or by Peter? Well, I want my heart to be repaired by the Moses. Very slow, very precise, following the procedures and doing all the small details. Because I find myself that sometimes I'm in a hurry and I do not really care about quality. I just want to achieve it well, just finish it, just cut corners, etc., etc. So you really want such people to be doctors, to be accounted in the church, for example, who takes care of the planning of these computer things, of the small details. Well, you don't want Peter or Paul to do that. You would want Moses to take care of the small details, that this building will be built in a correct, proper way. It will be calculated, all this snow load, all this wind, all this insulation, etc., slowly and precisely, but 100% following all the formulas and procedures. Can you imagine the world without Moses? Without such people who could really design and make a good car that runs for 20 years? So can you imagine a car designed by Peter? Just quick, something like this, just to make a show. Okay, doctors, accounting, planning, architects, etc., etc. Yeah. So we really need such people. But are they good in a relationship? Can you expect compassion from this person? Well, he can squeeze some compassion, I guess, if he's taught, and somebody under the table is just, okay, just cry. Cry with a person. It's a nice time, it's a right way to cry now. Otherwise, it's just, okay. Okay, so we look at the Moses. Let's look now another slow person, Abraham, who is, I guess, also slow. One of the examples that really shows me that he's quite slow, if you read carefully in Genesis 11 and Acts 7, how Stephen explains what happened, how Abraham went out from his fatherland, from this Ur, from this, and then he went, because in the Genesis it said that his father first moved out of this land. But then in Acts, Stephen explains that basically it's a God appear to Abraham and call him to leave this fatherland and move into promised land. And Abraham took his father and his nephew, Lot, together with them. So first they moved into Haran, and they stayed there until Abraham's fathers died, and then they moved further. So it was kind of quite lengthy process, and for me it explains that Abraham is quite slow person, not really rushing, not really running for the things. And the second thing that he cares about people, about relationship. And one of the examples, if you will please look at the Genesis 13, there we have this situation around verse 5 and 9, with his nephew, with Lot. So what is going on there? Abraham and Lot, they had already big number of goats and sheep, and it was not enough land, pastures for all the flocks. So they started to have problems. And basically, but we have to remember that Lot is the son of his brother. So he's a younger guy, younger boy. Well, not maybe boy, but he's a kind of less of the status. So he's the son of his brother, and and then when they started to discuss this, he said, "Let's part company. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left." And so basically he is proposing Lot, well, even though you are a younger person, and in those days especially it was kind of lower status, well, you choose. You choose. I don't want to make first decision. You choose. I want to, I respect our relationship, our family ties, and you choose. And we know that Lot chooses the Sodom and Gomorrah places, and he went there because it was more green, it was more water there. So Lot chooses the best part. And Abraham, okay, fine, that's your choice, I will take what left. So sometimes you met such people that it's really hard to argue with them. They just agree. They just agree with everything you propose. Almost like my wife. It's really hard to be enemy to such person. They are nice. They really value relationship with you. They really value what you think about themselves. If my wife thinks that she offended someone, if someone is not really pleased with her, well, she will not sleep. She will get nervous. She wants to be a friend to everyone. Can she achieve something? Probably not much, because she cares about people. She doesn't care about goals. She's not very fast. So she's kind of all loving, all relationships. She feels people. She talks to people, etc., etc. And is it good? Yes, especially for me, who is completely opposite. And I really miss all of this because I think we love what we don't have. When we around age 15, 20, we look for spouse, we like those people who not really like us. We like those things that we miss. So I liked her because she is completely different. She's opposite of myself. But once again, if you leave such person alone, or like a group of those people, they will hug each other, they will be good friends, but will they achieve something? Will they change something? Will they expand, evangelize a world and go somewhere? Probably not. They are slow, they just stay. If God would not call Moses, he would just, or Abraham, he would just stay there. So you really need to push those people. So you need to have a pole to push and encourage such people like Abraham. Do we need Abraham? Of course, yes. And usually, majority of the people in the church, in our communities, like that. Majority of us, we want to be friends. We want to be nice to each other. We don't want to have tensions, and we are not quick to change. Majority of us, we live where we were born. We stay on the same job for decades, and that's fine. That's normal. So, once again, slow to enter the sensitive. One of the small point. Do you remember how Abraham spoke to the Lord, to these three men that came to him, two men that went to Sodom and Gomorrah, and the Lord standed, and Abraham started to talk to him, and he was kind of negotiation or asking about Sodom and Gomorrah. You remember this very strange bargain that Abraham asked, well, if it will be 50 good people there in Sodom and Gomorrah, will you destroy it? The Lord said, no, for 50 people I will not destroy it, I will spare it. And then he said, okay, fine. And if it will be just one good lot, will you kill everyone around him? He didn't say that. It was just very slow, step by step. If 45 good people will be there, will you destroy them? No. I'm sorry, my Lord. May I ask you another question? If 40 people will be there, will you destroy them? No, I will not. Once again, I excuse myself, 30, and then 20, and 10. So step by step, he's afraid to offend God Almighty. And so we see this very slow, and he cares about whom? About Lot, about his relative, about people, about his relationship. Okay, so slow and sensitive, slow to negotiate, easy to deal with such people. They are friendly, nice to be around. And also they are hardworking. If you give them a task, they will not, try to kind of cut corners. They will just do their job. So do we need such people in the church? Of course, that's the majority. Usually it's the majority of the church. Okay, let's kind of summarize what we were talking about. Different gifts, different talents, different traits, if you will, that God created us very different, and we need to understand who am I, what is my differentiation, what is my gift, how can I serve in the church, in the community, and how can I be helpful in this God's business of calling people for salvation. And understanding yourself, understanding whether you are quick and want to impact a lot of people, you want to talk to big masses, be evangelist, that's fine. Let you use it, this talent. Or maybe you are a good organizer, you have a good businessman, you donate a lot, this is also fine. And you can lead people and achieve good things. Or maybe you are a kind of good soil, good people who just follow, who have a good relationship, who understand each other, who can encourage other people, who can support other people and build up. That's also fine. Or maybe you are very focused on the details, on the small things, or that you want to perfection. I really like the Christmas tree that was several months ago here. It was so beautiful. I really, kind of my guess, it was work of the Moses, of the person who is very precise, very accurate, who would make nice things that are good to look at. So, what I'm kind of challenging or asking you to do, to analyze yourself, to understand who you are, what God made you for, and then accept it, and serve with this talent that God gave you. So that's about it. May God bless you and guide you. He wants profit from you.